Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Gabby Tries. As always, I'm Gabby, and I'm the one who's going to be trying some new things today. Today, I'm very excited for our amazing guest. We have Nadine. Nadine, how's it going?
It's going really good. Thank
Yeah?
you very much for having me here. Excited.
Well, we're excited to have you. This is going to be great. Nadine, you are one of the wonderful owners of a fantastic place called Cafe
Caribbean.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, how do you prefer that be pronounced? Because I've heard two pronunciations for it.
Oh, yeah, Caribbean or Caribbean. I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me. It's whatever somebody's comfortable with. I say Cafe Caribbean because that's...
Flows better.
Well, I mean, I'm Caribbean. That's how we say it in Trinidad.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
Valid.
You know? So, yeah.
No, totally. The cafe itself is owned by you and your cousin Pat?
Yeah, Patricia Ross, the bestest friend a girl could ever ask for.
Oh, wonderful.
So, she's my cousin. My bestest friend in the world. And we have, people say don't get in business with family.
Yeah,
but
that's...
to be honest with you, I would not be doing this if we weren't doing it together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
What, because that is very common. And a lot of people, I have attempted to, and I was like, nope, I love you guys when I see you, but as business, I am not doing this. How have you found that it helps to work with her? Are you two super tight and you work well as a business? Does each one kind of contribute? Because from my end, I felt like I was putting in work, and then because it's family, they were like, you can take over things. I'm like, well, if I'm doing all the work, what are you doing? So
I'll tell you honestly, I think that it can be difficult with people working with family and business, but I mean, I think we've always had a solid friendship, outside of the fact that, okay, we're cousins, but and a very much understanding for each other. And so when even we were going into business, because we had a business, had a catering business since 2016, but more business on paper, right? Yeah. But when we were going into business, I just said, I don't want, we both had we have a lot of really good conversations about okay, what's it going to mean when we're making money? And is money, we had talks about what things could potentially become issues. And at the end of the day, I want her to win. She wants me to win. And so everything we do, intentionally, and we just have always really worked good together. And so we never worry about that. And even with growing our business, none of us, the both of us don't know what we're doing, truth be told. I'm not even gonna lie.
But you're doing great, yeah.
Things are great, amazing, but sincerely, we never owned a restaurant before. So it's yes, can we cook? 100%. Do we love feeding people? Yeah, but there's so much more to it than that, right? Okay. And so I think that you have to really be clear on what you guys want to do, have the same kind of vision, and know, we always are if I have money, she has money. If she has money, I have money. And if I don't have money, she doesn't have money. And so it's just kind of always been like that. So we're not worried about that. So yeah, I couldn't, honestly, I wouldn't do this without her, because she really is we balance each other off so much, right? I'm more the loud extrovert, and she's more quieter. She can be, but she's just always you talk. She doesn't talk that much, and she's kind of quiet, but so funny. And so we kind of just balance each other out. She loves baking. I can't stand putting my hand in flour at all. So everything baking wise, she does.
Okay.
Right? So it just kind of works that way. We always laugh because it's they call Pat the baker and Nadine the cook. And then she's like, when did I become the baker? And I'm like, well, since you're the only one that bakes, you're just the baker, right?
Since I don't want to touch flour, you're the baker. It's
I don't even like the feel of it. And she loves baking, and she always has. And so it's but she's a phenomenal cook. People think that I'm the cook. And the joke is that I never even started cooking until was in going to my mid to late 20s.
Really? So You guys didn't come from a culinary kind of like
Nope.
background? Oh, what?
Not
Hold
at
on, hold on.
all. Not at all.
How did you decide this is what we're gonna do and get into kind of like the culinary world?
I'm going to tell you, we were just two girls. First of all, no one, if you talk to my daughter, when she was growing up, because I was a single mom, if I cooked 2 times for like 2 days in a row, she was like, Mom, what's going on? 2 times in a row?
This is a record, Mom. Yeah, that's
And
right.
so I never cooked. I watched my mom. My mom's a really great cook, and I used to watch her, but my mom was kind of like, if you want to learn, you'll learn. If you don't want to come and learn, that's fine.
That is like my mom exactly. Every time I'm like, this is delicious. How did you make it? She's like, if you watch, you'll learn. I'm like, but they always like, I feel like cook or make things when you're not around. So I'm like, that doesn't even apply. You always have this ready, and how am I supposed to learn? I'm like, what happens like, later on if I like want to remember you and make this? She's like, well, you better do it right. I'm like, oh, of course. So
well, my mom was sort of like that, but like, so say if I was home and she was cooking, she's the kind of person that's like, okay, so help me cut up the cucumbers. And so she'd show you how, I want them cut like this. Yeah. And then as soon as you start, then next thing she'd be taking the knife from you and then she'd be doing it herself. So it's like, she always like, you never really had an opportunity to do it. Mm-hmm. But like, I started cooking probably in I'd say around 27. I had my daughter at 25. So I'd say, yeah, first couple of years, not really. I mean, I could cook, but I never really, wasn't like every day I was coming home making these meals or anything like that. And then I just started cooking. I can taste flavors in my head. So I can be like, oh, if I put this with this, yeah, it's going to be good.
What?
Yeah. And it usually is like, so I can literally know what something should taste like. That's why I don't want to say steal, because that's not maybe a very good, but I go to restaurants all the time. And if there's something good that I eat there, I'm like, I can make this. And then I'll go home.
And you can know it just off of like tasting. You don't have to know the like.
Yeah, I don't need to know the recipe. I can have a general idea, and then like I make this shrimp dish, like I call it my firecracker shrimp. Oh. It actually came from Eastside Mario's. When I went there one time, they had.
But they're not here anymore.
They're not here
decided to leave, so it's all yours. Yeah.
So, like it was inspired. Hey, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, that's right? So I went there and I had this shrimp dish, and I thought, man, this is so good. I could make this. So I tried a whole bunch of different peppers and whatnot. It took me a little bit, but then I made it like a version of it, right? But like, yeah. And then people go, oh, I love your firecracker shrimp. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
100%.
I threw out the snow piece because I don't like snow piece, but I kept it.
That's totally, wow. That's actually impressive that like, first the like non-culinary, like that's not what you wanted. Because usually like when we have folks on the show, they're like, I've always wanted to cook and own my own restaurant. And you're like, nope, I just decided to do it with my cousin.
I literally was in group insurance. I worked as a benefits manager. I worked in group insurance for probably 30 years, I would say.
Wow. And then
but I was always cooking. So how it really started. So I started cooking. And my cousin Pat was always a cook. She has been cooking since she was a little girl. Because, we're both from Trinidad. I came here when I was 5. She didn't come until she was 17. So, like, like back home, you're especially if you're a girl, you're going to learn to cook, right? Yeah. Like, so what happened is that, so she was always cooking. She was always baking. Everybody loves her food and everything, right? And then, so I started cooking and people are like, oh, this is good, right? Like they almost were like shocked, right? Because I never really cooked, but I sort of liked cooking, but and then we moved to we were living in Toronto. I grew up in Edmonton, but I lived in Toronto since I was 15. So I moved back to Edmonton, and then by that time I'd been cooking a lot. We were cooking for a church. We do lots of stuff, and people were always like, oh, you guys should get a restaurant. You guys cook so well. And we were kind of like, nah. right? You know, like, and one day we thought, well, maybe we will open up something, but we were thinking food truck. We'll get a food truck because we were thinking we don't want to be tied down. So
Yeah,
we'll
of
get a
course.
food truck and then so we would cook for our church. My brother's very active in the Caribbean community. Like he does so Carrie West, and he does costumes, and he has a band.
Awesome.
And so we used to cook at his parties, and he also throws parties, right? So hall parties and stuff. So that's literally where we got our start.
And that's where, okay.
So we used to cook for
And it was thumbs up all around.
Well, the people would call us the corn soup girls, right? Because one dish that like you find a lot of parties in Trinidad is like corn soup. So then they would always be like, "Oh, the corn soup! Hey, corn soup girls!" Right? So we would cook, and we kind of started there, and then. You know, my daughter's friends would be having a birthday party or something. Oh, can you make chicken wings, right? Because I used to do like chicken wings as well too. And she would say, okay, and then I would do them, and then these people would see like 2 years later, and they'd be like, "Isn't that your mom who made those chicken wings?" And I would be like, "They're remembering these chicken wings?" Like that's really where it started. That started putting a thing that, hey, you know, like maybe we have something here, right? But you have a full-time job and you kind of do this on the side. And honestly, for probably 6 years or more, we just really catered for our church. So we would do, so I go to a church called Citadel, and like my church is obsessed with food, right? And we're always having some event. Every event we have requires food. So we started cooking, and that's where our catering sort of came about. And we did odds and ends, but majority of the cooking was for the church. And we kept on doing that. So from 2016, I would say straight up until, I want to say 2020, we started saying, okay, like, COVID happened, I got laid off. So I told my cousin, you know, we should start like doing something, like just put up an ad on Facebook, and then twice a month, like cook. Because I had lots of people who always say, if you cook, I'd buy your food. If you cooked, I'd buy your food. So we started, so I remember we called it a curry queue. And so that's basically everything curried. So curried chicken, curry goat, we did like roti, because Trinidadian, we have a lot of Indian influences, right? Roti, they got curry pumpkin, curry, we call it bodhi, but it's also long green beans that are curried too. So, and we sold 96 meals.
See, that's amazing, because so many times you hear sometimes the opposite of that. It's like, if you did this, I'd buy it. And then people go and do it and no one buys it.
Well, we were like, to be honest with you, we were shocked. So we were called Rossi's Catering, because my maiden name is Ross, and so is my cousin's, right?
Perfect.
So we called ourselves Rossi's Catering. And then people, because they knew my brother and they knew us from parties and stuff like that, so they had an idea that we just put out an ad where Rossi's Catering presents the curry queue, this and that, pre-order, whatever. And like, honestly, we were like shocked.
No, that's fantastic. That's what you want, you know. Like, I wasn't like the things like when people like tell you like, hey, I love this, if you pursued it, I would follow up, because like you always have the opposite where like everyone's like, I love this, and then like you go and pursue it, and they're like,
exactly,
maybe we were just like telling you we loved it because it's polite, and you're like, nah, just be real, like, come on, just tell me if you actually love this or not. But like in your case, it sounds like, I mean, things are going well. Like,
it's really like,
you had like the community like behind you.
We did, like, I would say that, you know, like, okay, so my church is predominantly, there's a lot of Nigerians that go there. So in the beginning, because we're Caribbean, I'm from Trinidad, my cousin's from Trinidad. So I wasn't really exposed to much Nigerian food, right? So like, of course, like there's even culture barriers, even so like we say we're all Black people, but it doesn't matter. Like, differences in food. So even it was challenging in the beginning for them to be like open to like trying new things and stuff like that. But like, I think that I would say that God was really preparing us for the journey, because like when you learn to like, you know, kind of introduce something and you can't take offense, if it takes a while for people to come on board, and then eventually they start coming on board, and then they start saying, hey, you know, I like this and whatever. Just getting people to be open about food. Because I feel like some people are just so closed about food. They only like what they know, where I'm just like, I like to try everything because there's so much good stuff out there, right? And so I think that all helped us. And so we started doing that. And then how did we end up with the restaurant? Kind of everybody kept on, who would come to my house to pick up their food would say, you guys need to get a restaurant. And we were like,
okay, fine.
No, we were still like, we want a food truck. We're not getting a restaurant.
Oh, wow.
Like, and then I met this guy online, and he had the restaurant, and then we ended up becoming friends, and he wanted to sell his restaurant, and it was same location, it was everything, and it's a very small, like honestly, our restaurant is like a food truck. It's not even 500 square feet. It's tiny.
Oh, so it's okay. No,
it's like more like a grab and go. We got some seating, four stools that, it's like I always say, the typical Caribbean restaurant, right? You know what I mean? Like 4-bar stools for you to eat at. But we have so in the summertime we do have a patio, so that's nice. So but, he wanted to sell to somebody who wanted to keep it Caribbean because it was called St. Lucian Squeeze and they were doing Caribbean food. So and so everything just lined up once we kind of said, okay. And then we had some friends because we were like, well, what are we going to do for funding? And, I don't have bags of money and everything, but Canadian Imperial Advantage, they work with the Black community to help with if you're like new immigrants and everything, and even if you're not a new immigrant, but if you're looking to start a business like doing your business plan and everything. Oh, wow. So they helped us, and then we bought it in April, and then it was COVID, and
of course,
we didn't open until August 11th. So we did Carrie West. We had a little booth there, and we did like doubles, which we'll talk about later.
Oh, yes, we will.
Did doubles. We did like bacon saltfish, bacon smoked herring, and corn soup. Those are the 4 things we did, and we sold at 3 days. So it's for 3 days, 11 to 11, 2 of those days, and 11 to 9 p.m. Work. My God, I swear to you, Pat was frying doubles while sleeping.
Yeah, no,
right? It was crazy, but it was really great, and we got a really good reception. And then as soon as that finished, so that finished on the Sunday, and then the Friday we opened the restaurant.
Wow.
Which was probably in hindsight, we were like, that week I was like, are we crazy?
Is this,
why didn't we take some time
should we take some rest? Yeah. No, I always say every time there's ever been food truck or events, get in there on the first day, because so many times I'm like, I'll wait until it kind of dies out and I'll go the last day. But the last day, you know what happens? Is that you go there and you're excited for said item. And then the owners are like, are you kidding me? We sold out day 1. And you're like, oh, great, thanks. That's, I guess, yeah. So my question to you is, you said Corn Soup Girls is why didn't you go with that name? No?
I'm sorry, but
you're like, hell no.
I didn't want to be known as the Corn Soup Girls. But, I'll tell you something. We didn't cook at any parties and stuff for 2 years, right? We kind of really just as I said, just was doing it at the church, really, right? And then we did a party for my brother, and that's also kind of what solidified that maybe really there's something here, because these ladies were like, oh my God, we've been waiting 2 years for you.
Just the excitement, yeah.
What? And people came to the party that didn't come to the party for the party. They just came, bought food, and went and left. And we were like,
nice to see you. I'm here for this.
Yeah.
Bye. Yeah. That's crazy.
I was like, what?
I mean, that's kind of an honor.
It's really, honestly, it's really humbling, because it's not even if you cook well, it's not like you go around feeling like, oh, I'm just the most greatest cook in the world and everybody wants me. You're not even thinking that. So it's literally, sometimes we're just I'm amazed. But sometimes when I eat my own food or something that Pat made, and I think, this was fantastic. No wonder why these people
Yeah. This is why they love us, I guess. Yeah.
sometimes I'm even like that, right? But yeah, like honestly, it's been a phenomenal ride. I mean, it's only 6 months, so we've only been open 6 months, but it's been some more work than I ever imagined in
Yeah,
my
of course.
life. I tell you, the first month or 2 months, I would say, I went home every day. I had like I didn't know that that body could ache that much, and like you're like, oh my God, it's so overwhelming, but it's so fun, and you get to meet so many different people, and you get to let people try. Because really, for us, we wanted to bring, like, we are Caribbean, and like, I say this in no slight because I love Jamaican food and everything, but so much times when people think
Oh,
Caribbean,
I was gonna ask some
mhm.
questions because I've been to
Oh
Jamaica, so I was
yeah,
gonna throw
okay,
some
so,
things in. Yeah.
but because when people think Caribbean, they just think Jamaica.
Hmm.
But Jamaica is just one part of the Caribbean. So there's so many different islands, Trinidad, Barbados, St. Vincent, St. Kitts, St. Lucia. So what we wanted to do was represent like the other Caribbean islands, right? Because you don't get those kind of foods. And you'll find that the thread in terms of the cuisine in most parts of the Caribbean is similar, like different nuances, but you see the similar thread. But Jamaica is kind of like,
It's on
it's
its
on its
own.
kind of
Yeah,
its
yeah.
own. So you'll find at our restaurant we do things like roti and doubles, and like I'm not saying that we never do oxtail or we never do jerk chicken or we never do curry goat, but we don't really serve typically what you find in a Jamaican
Oh, so you're
restaurant.
trying to separate definitely from there and
Yeah,
kind of
because the
introduce.
flavors are different, and
Mhm.
like we want you to experience something that you don't get everywhere. And so that was really what it was born out of, like in terms of why we choose the menu that we do and why we cook the types of foods that we do. And we wanted you to be able to like, get something that reminded you of like, oh, I haven't had this in so long. So we even ask our customers, what would you like to, because we do specials Fridays and Saturdays.
Oh, nice.
And there's no rhyme or reason to the specials. It's usually Saturday. It's like after Saturday, then Sunday, we're like, well, what are we doing for specials this
Today.
week?
We'll
It's
make it
like,
up as we go. No,
and
that's
then
great.
we do that. So our customers know that every Friday and Saturday, there's going to be something different than our regular weekly, like our regular menu that we have, right? So I love that. So we ask them, what haven't you had in a long time? What would you love to have? And then, we get enough requests on it, then we do it.
So one question that I kind of always had is,
Mm.
you were saying that like every Friday and Saturday is like kind of specials.
Mhm.
Was there ever a request where someone requests that you're homesick, you kind of miss home? Is there like a dish that's like,
I think doubles is something, but we have that we only have that on Fridays and Saturdays. And I also I had this guy that he lives in Fort McMurray and he's from Trinidad, but he hasn't been like, I'm meeting so many people that like me, I have a big family. And so like you have your grandmother and then you have your mom, and my mom's still alive. And, all the people that would have cooked like Trinidadian food for him are gone.
oh,
And he hadn't had, so we have a dish called bacon saltfish. It's like just fried dough, right? And then we put like salted cod that you boil it, kind of take off most of the salt, onions, tomatoes, and then some garlic. And then you heat like oil, and then you kind of throw it on there and kind of fries it up. And then you put it in this and eat it like a sandwich, right?
oh wow.
And he was like, I haven't had bacon saltfish in 25 years. Can you imagine? So he came in on a Friday, and I said to him, every Saturday we have bacon salt. No, we call it saltfish bulljoy. He's like, what? And he comes in, like, he's so funny. So he comes in, the first day he comes in and he has doubles, and he's like, I haven't had doubles in a long time. And he's like, just give me one. I'm trying, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh. So he tries it, and then he's like, oh. Then he has another one, and he has another one. And then he literally calls me back. I'm coming for 6 more, right? And then the next day, so I told him, no, yeah, you can come by. So he comes by, and it's like, he's like eating this, and he's like, like I'm eating home. Like,
Oh, wow.
like there's just certain foods that bring you back to like, I remember when I was a kid and I had this. That's what I want people to have, is like stuff that, you don't get it all the time. But like when we make a dish called pilau, which is just really rice, chicken, beans, everything in one pot. And when I make pilau, it's like these people, oh, you make pilau. You have pilau. It's like, it's not even a complicated
Yeah.
dish, but it just goes to show you, like, for me, how food ties into all your memories. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh, we should make a curry crab and dumpling, because that reminds me of home,
Oh, okay.
right? So I think that just being able to get like like if you're from Trinidad, to get something like, whether it's roti, because it's not, it's hard to get roti here in Edmonton, right? Or bacon saltfish. Most people don't make bake themselves, and they don't make saltfish, bacon, smoke herring. Like today we had stew chicken and macaroni pie, which is like, if we put some callaloo beside that, that would be literally Sunday food. Like, and so how I grew up, maybe during the week you wouldn't eat well, like, you're not having filet mignon.
Mm-hmm.
But on Sunday, you would have a Sunday food. It would always be like, you get your rice and some macaroni pie and some stewed chicken and some lentil peas and then some watercress nuts and some chow, and when we make Sunday food,
that's the
people
peak.
are just like, what? And they call from before, okay, so you're going to have a Sunday. Okay, oh my God, macaroni pie. That's one thing that people like a lot too. It's like, so I don't think there's one specific, but I think that there's specifics for different people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we just try to make things that remind you of home. I mean, I'm really selfishly making stuff also that like, that remind me of home.
It's like, I love this, so
I
they
love
love
this, and
this.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, if we had that,
Yeah.
put a little, because I'm such a foodie, honest to God.
So do you like, because I was gonna say, like, that's always amazing to have people like, I want to not give it to Ratatouille, but there's that Ratatouille moment where like he has, I can't remember the name of the food. I think it's Ratatouille, actually, exactly the title. He has it, and then he just remembers his childhood. And so like to hear that, like, he was like, I haven't had it in 25 years, was so excited, came to have it. And you're right, like, it's bizarre to think that like having a meal can be like ingrained into the core of the back of your like mind. But like so many times I've had like dishes like prepped by like my grandma, or it's like someone that like, I don't know why, but like I always remember specifically like her like chopping something up or like adding some spices and like how it tasted. And like as a kid I'm like, I didn't know, but like I'm like burning it into my mind. And then until I come across a restaurant that serves it, I'm like, oh man, she used to make it just like this. And
and you don't, the thing is like, it's funny that it's like those are memories and you don't really think anything of it. But the day that you taste something that triggers that memory, you're like, oh my God. Like when I go home, so when I go back to Trinidad, like they're so westernized in that, like, like, do you know the KFC downtown Trinidad, it makes $1 million a day.
What?
Sincerely.
We got to open up to KFCs. That's what we got to do. What are we doing with this? But yeah, continue.
But like, because I mean, KFC in the Caribbean, if you do go to the Caribbean, you got to go to KFC because it's not KFC here. It's totally different. Mm-hmm. Pepper sauce, this, that, whatever, mm-hmm. right? So I don't want to go, like I like KFC in Trinidad, but I don't want to go there. They have like, they do a lot of like gear, like shawarma and all, like a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of Lebanese, there's a lot of Trinidad's a very melting pot, but like I don't go there to have food that I can get here.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? And they're like, and I'm just like, all these fresh ingredients. Yeah. You people are cooking. What the hell is wrong with you? So like I go on vacation and I cook when I'm there.
What?
Because it's like, it's that smell, like, they have these peppers, they're like called pimento peppers, and they're not hot, but they're flavored peppers. And it's like, when I smell that, it just reminds me of being a kid and seeing them prepping and like that smell. And when you cook, so if I put that in a pot of like, if I'm making stewed chicken or beef or whatever. It just adds this kind of flavor and it reminds me of home, right? And
Wow.
so yeah, I feel like I get like that too. Like I get like I'll be honest with you, we don't even want to eat our food at our restaurant. We're over it now.
What?
Because if you're the one cooking the food, I'm like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
My cousin's like,
You're like, ah.
should we get a Domino's pizza? We can't order pizza. How's that gonna look good?
Yeah, you're like having pizza. You're like, go ahead, eat it. It's good.
You know,
I
like
promise.
honestly, Barry, don't put that in.
Yeah, yeah. But
So you like, you get like, I'm cooking. We have, we have curry chicken, we have brown stew beef, we have braised pork, we have all the. But like, if you're making that all the time and you're around it, like you do not want to eat it. But on a Saturday, I will always have a bacon saltfish, and it's like every time I eat it, I'm like, oh, this is so
this is
good.
nice.
I had one before I came here. As a matter of fact.
Perfect, perfect. So I was gonna say, on the menu, is there an item that's Nadine's special or favorite, and then one that's Pat's special and favorite, or is it like everything?
Well, to be honest with you, all the cooking, so like Pat makes we have pastries, the roti, anything with flour is Pat. She also makes I don't like did I mention I don't also like frying stuff?
Oh.
So she makes the fried chicken and she makes the fish. And then everything else I make, right? But not that she can make all of those things. She's a phenomenal cook. But my specialty, the thing that people always know me for, curry chicken, curry goat is like the top thing that people always like, oh, you're gonna make goat, oh, you're gonna make goat, and stewed chicken, right? Like, and it's so hilarious because I got my daughter's friends, my daughter and her friend came in today. Her friend, her name is Chanel, and she is like, I wish I had 25,000 people like her because she's always like, Mates, if you made a paper bag, if you cooked it, I'd eat it. Like, you know what I mean? And so she comes in today and she had like our special was stewed chicken and macaroni pie, and she has it and she's like, 10 out of 10, on point, on point. And like she'll come in and order curry chicken all the time. I'm like, Cheryl, are you tired? Don't you get tired? She goes, no, man. Like it never disappoints. Like, and I think that's what most things that gets me excited. Right?
No, that's amazing. Like I said,
yeah, I want to be consistent, and we try it. Most important for us is consistency. But curry chicken, the brown stewed beef, it's very popular, like extremely popular. And of course, roti. Like, I mean, I'm just like, I love roti, but I cannot eat roti like every day.
Okay.
And I just sometimes like these people they're crazy over roti.
They're just so excited. So you've talked about how excited they are for the food. You've gotten me excited. I've been trying to ask questions, but then the other half of me is like, I just want to try this out because I feel like the people at home are like, get to the food already. Because you're like, it's awesome that you're like talking it up, but like that everyone is loving it. So now I'm like, I gotta know. I have to know. So folks at home, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we're back, I'm actually going to attempt to try some amazing food, which I'm sure will blow me away. So I'll be right back. Well, folks, we're back, and can I just say that, like, I always talk about smell-o-vision, but I wish that was a thing, because, like, this smells amazing. Actually, I could smell it before you even walked in the room. So I am so excited to get started here. But before I do, this is still an interview and I can't just dive in directly. Can you explain to us what we have going on here, Nadine?
Okay. So we've got 3 little dishes that I brought. So this is our curry chicken.
Ooh.
So it comes with rice. It comes with beans. They're kidney beans that are cooked down by themselves. Because in Trinidad, we don't really like mixing the rice and the peas.
Oh, really?
We make the peas separately and then just white rice, and then you mix it if you want to.
Okay.
Right? And so then there's some curry chicken. So this would be what our meal would be, how we serve curry chicken. So it comes with rice, beans. It actually comes with coleslaw and fried plantains, but I didn't bring you any coleslaw or fried plantains. Forgive me.
It's you know what, I'm already thrilled and excited. So
good. I want you to taste that.
Oh yeah, I will.
And see what you think about that. So there's the chicken.
That's looking awesome.
So yeah, this is one of actually our most popular dishes, right? So Trinidad curry, because some people say, I don't really like curry. So our curry is very mild. Um, and I use like 2 different types of curries, and then we put some jeera, which is ground cumin, like roasted cumin, and then a little bit of gram masala. Like there's a whole thing that goes in. I put there's probably about 5 different things that come together to make that.
Well, I'm about to upset a bunch of people, but I had this dish in Jamaica, and this is better. I'm sorry. Come after me. Come after Nadine, actually. No, this is actually amazing. This is actually amazing. I love that, like, you're right, like, it's not the spice level, but it's very well spiced. And that comes through, like, even as I was chewing, I'm like, what is that? What is that? And you're like mentioning, I'm like, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Like,
layers of flavors, and that's the thing about Trinidad cuisine. So because it is like, you've got African, you've got a big East Indian, dominates a lot of our cooking. You've got Creole, you've got Lebanese, you've got Asian. And so when you have so you're taking a fusion of a bunch of different flavors and putting it together. So I feel like what I love about Trinidadian cuisine is that when you eat it, there's a layer. What's that? There's a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
no,
I love
100%.
that, right? And of course, there's some coconut cream in there because I'm a coconut cream fanatic.
Oh,
So,
yes.
if you don't like coconut,
no, I love
if you don't
that.
like coconut,
Fantastic.
I can't help you.
No, I have to. Sorry, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do another round of this. This is fantastic.
Right, and so normally, this is like one of our top selling dishes is our curry chicken. And I could make curry chicken in my sleep, like literally. And no, I don't have a recipe, but if you know how to cook, I can tell you how to make it.
That's actually amazing. All right, this number one, I'm already blown away, and
Okay.
everything you were saying in the interview prior to was like on point because, wow, that's amazing.
So this here now is dish number 2. And so today on Fridays and Saturdays, we do different specials, right? So today we had macaroni pie. So it's something that people love. It's like a mac and cheese, but not really.
Oh.
And then then I just brought you some braised, this is stew beef. So the beef, so for us, we brown meat with sugar. So oil in the pot. So you season up the meat, oil in the pot, sugar, caramelize the sugar, and when the sugar is caramelized, throw in the meat, cook it up, some coconut cream, and a little hot. We do put, like, I want to make sure that people understand our food has spice for flavor, but not heat. Like you taste a little heat, but you're not going to be like, oh my God, my mouth is burning. I don't enjoy, like, we have hot sauce that we give to people who want to have their mouth burning. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I'll also mention to the folks at home, one of the hottest peppers in the world is actually named the Trinidad Scorpion.
Yes, scorpion pepper.
That's right, exactly.
Yes,
so
and we use it. We use it. I use the scorpion pepper. You know the funny thing, people tell me they don't like heat. Everything I cook has heat in it, but the way that the heat is presented, it's not overwhelming, and so people don't.
It's not like pepper sprayed in the face. You're just like enjoying it.
So this is so try this. So this is our stew beef, and this is the macaroni pie. So yeah, so there's a beef.
Ooh.
Right.
That's so nice and soft.
I don't like, we don't like hard meat like that. So if you think, people always go, what's that flavor, right? Because it's like, is it brown? No, it doesn't taste like it's sugar, but see, the burning of the sugar creates just, I don't know, like, it's a smell that when you've done that, and then you've put like that coconut cream, and you put maybe a Scotch bonnet in, some ginger and a little thyme, and then we do have like a Spanish cilantro, we throw in that. It gives us, I don't know, like when you taste it, when you just, because people all say, what is it? It's the browning of the sugar. Wow. It just adds a layer of flavor that.
Now, you folks at home got to try this. I am not even kidding. This is like such an experience. And you're right. As soon as I began to, I'm like, even though you told me, you're like, this is how it's made. I'm like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
wow.
And so try the macaroni pie. It's one of like, people are always running around, and I put a little, as I said, Caribbean people are in love with gravy, in case no one knew that.
Oh.
They just need gravy on everything. So that's the macaroni pie. Okay, so like a mac and cheese, but not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Baked, and it's one of it. Like, this is something that you would have every Sunday. You get a macaroni pie. Like, you might just get like corned beef and rice during the week, but
but Sundays have to be special.
Sunday is the day that you're going to eat. Okay?
Wow, I like that a lot. Mm.
So now this is the last thing that I want to give you is our doubles. So this is a double. Okay? So I am going to just open it up. Just explain. So the top part there, it's called bara. So that's the dough. And so inside of this, I'm just going to open it up here, not touching with my hands. You see there's chickpeas. There's a little tamarind chutney. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of, I don't want to call it cilantro because it really is, it's called shadow beni, but it's from the cilantro family. Mm-hmm. And then a little hot sauce. So
these are the super fame.
The doubles is Trinidad street food. Like, you go to Trinidad, you get out of Piaco International Airport, and the doubles man is there. And the first thing you want is a doubles and an apple J. I don't know why the apple J goes with the doubles, but
I guess, yeah,
it just does.
Okay.
So now there's two ways that you can eat this.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, so you can either just eat it as a sandwich, or sometimes people do is they take the top one, take some of the filling out, and eat that, and then close up the other one. There's no right or wrong. It's however you like.
Okay.
And so you try that. So the doubles, totally vegetarian. It's actually totally vegan. There's no eggs in it. The dough is just literally flour, yeast, turmeric. That's what gives it the yellow color.
So you said they kind of
So pick up some of that,
Okay.
And some of that filling,
Okay.
And then just pop it in your mouth, man. And so you'll feel that the dough is kind of chewy, right? Right? And then even the chickpeas, even though it doesn't actually have curry in it, but people always think that it does, right? It's got turmeric, it's got saffron in it, it's got some jeera in it, right? And then then the tamarind chutney. So you've got the chickpeas, that's more like savory. Then the tamarind chutney, sweet. Then the cilantro, and then you add a little, usually cucumber. I didn't put cucumber on it because we were transporting it soggy. And then you would put a little pepper sauce, which, did you taste that there's a little hot sauce?
That is awesome. Yeah.
And then you get the sweet, the heat, they just meld together. Like, I just always feel like, I would say Trinidad food is just smooth.
No, it's such a, like, I can't say I've ever had the food I was so excited to try it, because I was like, oh my gosh, like, I went to go visit Jamaica. I wonder if, like, and I just love that there's, like, I'm always a fan of, like, layers of, like, spices and, like, what's in that. Not, like, in the sense of, like, oh my God, what am I eating? But more like, what's that?
In it? Yeah, like, how did they get, and that's exactly what we want. I love to see when you take a bunch of different, even spices that might not even seem like they go together, like, because a doubles doesn't seem like it will be very tasty, because it's like dough, chickpeas, and some toppings on it, right? Yeah. But put all of them together and you're like, and honestly, I'm not a vegetarian. I'm sorry, people, do not kill me, but like, I couldn't be vegan. I couldn't be vegetarian, period. So the fact that I love doubles is amazing to me.
No, like,
usually I'm just like, you bring me food and there's no meat, and I'm like, are we going to be having dinner coming?
It's one of these, is it? Yeah, no, that's like 100%. Like, everything is just so, like, I got to say, like, that curry chicken, just, I'm still thinking about it, because wow, the spices and the levels to it. Doubles were amazing to have. Like, I'm glad, because you were mentioning it in the interview and I was like, I don't even know what that is, but I guess I'll find out. But like, delicious, well earned for sure, because like, I could see why you had the gentleman have You said 6? Was it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And I was like,
And it's really great. And so I always tell people, if you've never tried doubles, it's something that everyone should try. I don't really know anybody who doesn't like doubles, but it's Trinidad street food. We serve them fresh every Friday and Saturday, only on Fridays and Saturdays. Don't come on Monday because you won't find them there.
Okay.
So we only on Fridays and Saturday. And basically you come in, you order, and then we make it while you're there so that you're getting it hot. And I tell people, just eat it now. Like, don't even bother going anywhere. Just eat it right now.
Yeah,
and
right
yeah, so these are just some of the dishes that we have. And like, we're just really happy to be bringing Trinidadian cuisine to Edmonton. And, you know, there's a large Trinidadian population in Edmonton. And we get people coming all the time saying, I'm so happy to be able to like have like Trinidadian food. And they're always like, please guys, don't go anywhere. Like,
no, that's amazing. Like, I now for sure have a new spot. As I said, I can only, my facial expressions and I can only go, so much before you have to come down and try it out. So for the folks who wanted to come visit, can you let us know your hours and where you're at?
So Cafe Caribbean, we are at 10140 117th Street. We are 1 block north of Jasper on 117th Street in the Stradica Medical Building. Hours of operation, Monday to Thursday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And Fridays and Saturdays, we're open 11 a.m. until 9 p.m.
Wow.
So, because we wanted, you know, because I always feel like when I want Caribbean food, like I'm like, after 6 o'clock, I never can get it. So we were like, we're opening later. So that's why we're open until 9.
No, that's perfect.
And we're closed on Sundays.
Of course, because of the awesome Sunday food dishes. No, that's fantastic. Please go and try it. I'm not even kidding. This food's been amazing. I wish I could even be a good enough liar to pretend it wasn't, but like that immediately was delicious. As always, Nadine, thank you for joining us so much.
Thank you for having me.
This was great. And this has been Gabby Tries. I'll catch you guys next time.